What up, mongrels? Today we are taking a look at the DYU A1F folding commuter bike. What do you get? You get 16-inch wheel, 250 watt single speed folding e-bike. You have a twist grip throttle which allows you up to 15 miles an hour, a simple on and off switch, instant pedal assist, only one mode of pedal assist, horn, front and rear lights. What's not to like? So you've got your on off button there, simple click, and that will turn on. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. You've got a power indicator there, one of 4 bars. After 8.5 miles, I'm still showing full battery. Twist throttle, I'll make sure that's turned off so I don't scoot anywhere. If you pull and hold that for 8 seconds, it turns into cruise control. You can let go and it just maintain the speed. Turn that back on. You've got your light switch, simple on and off. That turns on your front and rear lights. And underneath that, your horn. Going on to the front light, as you can see, that's what it looks like. It's reasonable, certainly fit for purpose. Mechanical disc brakes and 16-inch mag wheels. Locking mechanism there. You simply slide that out, pull that down, and the handlebars come down. I'll show you it folded in a moment. Height adjustment there for the handlebars. Adjustable seat. There's your locking catch. That just pops up. Same again, pull it over, bike folds in half. Foldable pedals. If I can do it without catching my fingers. Easy enough. You can stand on them as well, which is a bonus. Single speed, as I say, and a 250 watt motor. Turn those lights back on. There's your rear light, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but that is a brake light as well. If the light is off, brake light. Plastic mud guards. You have, same again, disc brakes at the back, mechanical disc brakes. All your wires are routed externally, but it is a folding e-bike. She weighs in at 21 kilograms, so not too bad. I'll quickly show you her folding up. I'll turn that off so I don't bugger myself. Flip up the pedals. Get them into the right sort of place. Unlock, drop that down. Handlebars will flip round. Drop your seat. Down like so. Unhook your catch. Pop that off. And boom, my stand is still there, but you get the idea. That's the size it folds up to. You can put that on a bus, put that on a train, put it in the boot of your car, no problem at all. Obviously setting it back up, just the opposite. Flip that round, click her in, flip it over, seat up to wherever you want it, handlebars up. And then you put your little locking thing in there to stop them popping off as you're riding. Oh yeah, pedals. Ta-da! But straight out the box, couldn't be simpler. All I had to do was put the handlebars on, put the pedals on, and you were done. Obviously unfold it. Love the fact it's got a brake light. It's also got one really good feature, which I like. No keys or anything in here. Let's just give it a... So, anyone goes to steal your bike, got an alarm on it. I believe that's also an immobiliser, so they won't be able to use the electricity that's involved. Lovely job. It's got a 38 volt, no it's not, it's got a 36 volt, 7.5 amp hour battery. Non-removable, but it is replaceable, so there are screws in there where you can take it out. You can't take it out to charge it. The one thing I'm not too keen on with this bike is the charger itself is an ambient cooling little block, and it does get warm, so it does advise you not to charge them indoors or in living accommodation or in hallways and things like that. Obviously, with you not being able to take the battery out, you're limited to where you can charge it. Just something to keep an eye on. The ride, you've got Springs on the seats, nice thick seat. It's a no suspension bike with small wheels. The majority of my trip today is on gravelly dirt tracks. When you're on smooth ground, it's really no issue. Yeah, height, you can go from way down there to way up there, so you can have it Warwick Davis to Greg Davis. There you go, 2 Davis references for you. Mudguards are fine, there's not a lot to tell you. It's a very basic bike. You turn it on, you pedal or you twist the throttle. The cruise control is a great feature. It really did surprise me. If you look at this as effectively a scooter, one of the higher scooters that you can get, you know, because they're illegal unless you hire them for the council. Makes plenty of sense. Use a throttle on this, you've got yourself a decent distance to go to and from work at 13-15 mile an hour if you're not a polka. I know throttles are illegal, but the chances of you getting pulled on this by the old bill are pretty much slim to none. You are meant to be able to take a passenger here. Obviously, they will be right up against your crimper. It wouldn't be comfortable, you've got nowhere to put your feet. You wouldn't want no more than a small child, if at all. The reason I've got this is I expected to hate it. I really did. I expected it to be absolutely useless. And it ain't. It is a very pedestrian speed you're travelling at. Unless you want to pedal like a psycho, you're only going to be doing 8 to 10 mile an hour, 13 mile an hour on the throttle. All in all, I like the bike. I'll tell you what the range and everything is when I get to the end of it. As I say, yesterday really surprised me. They claim 19 miles, 75 kilogram person on flat ground. I've done plenty of hills yesterday. I'm 90-ish kilos, and it really did surprise me. Anyway, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get this back on the dirt and get cycling. So as always, first things first, we'll see what it rides like without any power. Single speed, obviously, no issue pulling away. Quite a light bike at 21 kilos. Pedaling wise, really, you're only going to get 8 to 10 mile an hour comfortably, or you're pedaling like a nutter, as you can see. So I'll just let it slow back down and turn that power on and see what it's like. You can sort of feel the power. It's not kicked in when I'm ghost pedaling. It actually does allow me to have a bit of pressure on the pedals. Obviously effortless. I'll bring it back on the first hill. So just starting the climb of our first 10% hill. This claims it can do up to a 15-degree hill, which I believe is around about 20% or so. I can definitely feel this in my legs. Right, so that's already getting a struggle. Cranking the throttle, not a problem. I was trying to avoid using the throttle on the way today, but that does make the difference. Carrying me up here, no problem at all. There are a couple of big hills on this first half of this trip, which could be an issue for the battery. Got to claim the 37 miles. I am slightly heavier than what they recommend, so we shall see how it does. I don't think I'll be getting 30 out of it. One of the issues is when you're coming downhill, obviously there's no point in pedaling, and as you creep up to the start of the next hill, you've got to wait a long time until you're going slow enough to start pedaling again. The throttle obviously is there. In my test yesterday, that was good for about 13 miles an hour. So I'm currently ghost pedaling up this hill, probably doing about 6 or 7 miles an hour. So it definitely works, ghost pedaling. I do have a lot of cars behind me, so I'll jump on the path. And again, you twist that throttle and it does start bringing you in. So in pedal assist mode, hill climbing isn't easy. When you're moving, like now, it doesn't feel like I've got any electric on. It's a very slight incline. Definitely feels like I'm doing all of the job. Obviously throttle helps greatly. But earlier, when I was on a start of an incline, I was ghost pedaling and it was carrying me along at a very, very, very slow rate. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Let's see. Ghost pedal. That's just slowing me to a stop. I don't know if it's because I use the throttle. Bit weird. As you can tell, there's no suspension on this bike. In fairness, it isn't horrific. You can obviously feel the bumps through these little 16-inch wheels. I'm running them at high pressure just to try and get the most out of the range as I can. So at speed, no issues with the bike whatsoever. It's certainly stable enough, a little bit twitchy, but you're going to have that with skinny little handlebars and tiny wheels. As you can see now, I'm still not being able to pick up the tension on these pedals, and there I go. Again, another 10% hill, and my legs are feeling it. You know, I'm not sure how much work that engine's doing, but a quick twist of the throttle and straight away, no problems, you're away. For its intended use though, in cities, on decent roads, the Isle of Wight roads are notoriously bad. Should be fine. Still having to put in quite a bit of effort on this hill. But it's getting up it. You know, a normal single speed happy shopper bike coming up here, and I'd probably be pushing. Cars are not liking me. With it being so small, it's definitely nimble. Brakes do a good enough job. A little bit twitchy, but that is absolutely to be expected. I mean, it's nothing that it's exactly what I would think a bike like this would behave like. There's no rattles or anything. Check clear there. And straight over. Yeah, lovely job. It's very, very subtle, the pedal assist. Very subtle. But like climbs like now, probably about this sort of angle, absolutely no problem. Anything above this, you do notice it. Let's buy a car and ruin it, eh? We're on a nice smooth bit of cycle path now. And the road's lovely. I mean, I'm going a pedestrian 8 to 10 mile an hour, really comfortable. So if you're out on a commute, not that far to work, and you don't want to be rocketing, brilliant. If you're having a jaunt to the pub in your camper van, brilliant. You can crank it up with the throttle alone. As you can see, that'll go a bit faster. But pedaling, unless you want to pedal like a nutter, yeah, you're limited really to about 10 mile an hour. Really manoeuvrable. Really smooth, no rattles, no bangs. Seat's fairly comfy. It's got a sprung cushion. That don't make sense. It's a sprung seat with quite a lot of padding. I can feel it's there, but you've got no suspension and loads of bumps. The second half of this is all gravel, which, yeah, well, I rode it yesterday on throttle alone, so I know what to expect. Surprising results yesterday. I'll let you know the ranges and that at the end of this video. As you can see now, coming to a big hill, or steep hill, short but steep. It's climbing it. The power's definitely there. It's just really, really subtle. I would like more speed available to you, applying pressure to the pedals, but it is what it is. It's a folding single speed commuter stroke camper bike. As you can see, even at this speed, that's how fast I'd have to be pedaling just to put pressure on the wheels. So it's not ideal. The other thing, which is good and bad at the same time, is the horn. Thank you. As you can see there, I didn't use it because it's, yeah, it could make you jump. Let's have a look how these little tyres do on the slippery, muddy, gravelly stuff. So here we go on the cycle path for the next 8.5 miles. As you can see, it's a little bit gravelly, gets a little bit muddy, a little bit potholey a bit further up. Not the ideal conditions for this bike, but it's handling it absolutely fine. Just coming up to people, don't really want to use the horn. Very busy today. Give it a little toot. Passing on your left. Passing on, thank you. Passing on your left. Thank you. Thank you. It's gravelly, I don't feel slippery underfoot, under wheel. It's doing a fine job. Not sure exactly how gravelly you can see it is. So again, as you can see, this isn't the terrain it's meant for. It handles it absolutely fine. The tyres are pumped up to what they recommend. Waterproof rating is something I forgot to mention in the little spiel I done at the start of this. Is it an IP 54 or 56? Which is slightly water resistant, dust resistant, but not waterproof. So you wouldn't want to be riding it in a heavy downpour. It can withstand a bit of light drizzle, I would imagine. As I'm coming through here, it is absolutely effortless. Pedaling on the straights, slight inclines also not a problem. And you've always got that throttle. The throttle is very, very handy, and if you do look at it as a scooter, if you're travelling to and from work, one that you can pedal and sit on, yeah, it's definitely got a place and got a use. We're just coming up to an area around this corner which is always really foggy and muddy, and it's almost like a cobbled effect on the floor. So we'll see how the wheels work on that. If anywhere I'm going to be going for a Burton, it will be here. Actually looks like it's dried up a bit, but the bobbly bits are still bobbly. No problem. No problem at all. Oh, he says. And back on the road again. If you're like me and live in a rural type area and a lot of your bike paths are bumpy and stuff like that, a couple of cheap and easy ways to pimp this ride to make it a bit more comfortable would be one, some foamy hand grips, spongy hand grips, and maybe a suspension seat post. On flat, smooth roads like this, really not an issue. but the grips are quite hard, and obviously with the vibrations and the bumps going through it, you can feel them. The same with the seat, but on flat smooth roads like this, it ain't an issue. I'm still showing full battery, and I'm now starting to toy with the idea that perhaps I should do the full 30-mile route. It can't do 30 miles, surely. If it can do 30 miles with me, it ain't going far wrong. Once you get used to the slow pace riding this bike, it's a very pleasant place to be. From a campervan perspective, you know, you're on holiday, you don't mind taking your time. And if you've got a short commute, yeah, it's certainly quick enough to keep up with city traffic, whipping in and out of them, and you've always got the throttle. Just to show you what I mean about those pedals, they're secure enough, even though they're plastic and foldable, to support your weight if you do need to stand up going over speed bumps. Not bad. Just keep pedaling. This bike has presented me with a bit of a problem. I've got to where I thought I'd be hitting the last bar of battery and hopefully scraping my way back home. Thank you. And it's still showing 3 bars of battery, which means, should I go and try and complete the rest of the 30-mile loop knowing what hills are involved? If it doesn't do it, I've got long stretches cycling with no battery along busy roads. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad position to be in, because it shows the bike's actually performed way past my expectations again. I'm going to have a think and see if I can think of another back road that's going to take me a little bit longer and add a few more miles on. Because at this rate, I'll be getting home with half a battery. So I've been pedaling around, trying to elongate my trip, and she's still showing 2 bars. So I thought I'd attack some massive hills, trying to kill her. Proper surprised me. This one is a long, steep hill. If it starts getting too much, I'll obviously bring you back. If not, it's just another fat bloke pedaling up a hill, innit? I will find a spot up there and let you know my final thoughts. One of my final thoughts is me bum hurts. But there's no such thing as a comfy bike seat. So, here we go. Here we are, 25 miles into this trip, and she's still showing 2 bars. She's down to 1 bar really, and I have no doubt she's got another 5 miles in her. So I'm going to give her 30 mile on pedal alone, using the throttle to get up some of these big hills. And there was a couple of spanking big hills in that trip. Utterly surprised me. It done 14.99 miles yesterday on throttle alone, and once again I did help with pedaling when I did it some big hills, but it's carrying 90 kilograms. Yeah, you know, averaging 11, 13 mile an hour on the throttle, averaging 8 to 10 mile an hour a day. It's really surprised me. Nothing really to fault on the bike. You know, you could definitely improve it. How I'd improve it, I would have the gearing so that you could go a little bit faster when you were pedaling. I would have a little bit more torque on pedal assist, because it is very subtle. When you're pedaling, there's no effort on the flat, slight inclines, no problem at all. To a steep hill, you definitely need to use the throttle. If you had more gearing and had a higher top speed on the flats, obviously that would make hills a bit harder. One of these with 5 gears on it would be blinding. It's a bumpy old ride. The handle grips are quite tough, but it's meant for city use or just pottling around little country lanes. Me bum sore. It's a bike seat. There's no suspension on it. It has got these springs. They can only do so much. All in all, you know, as I said, when they offered me this bike, I wasn't expecting to like it at all. But for what it is and its intended purpose, it really does tick a lot of boxes. Longevity, I can't speak for. As I say, the power pack does get warm when you're charging, so just bear that in mind when you're using it. Obviously it has got a throttle, therefore it's not strictly legal. You're never going to get pulled over on it. Yeah, just wish it had a little bit more torque. A little bit more torque and the ability to pedal a little bit faster on pedal assist. But again, it surprised me today. I've no doubt it's got another 5 miles. I'm about a mile from home. I'm going to toddle off that way. 15 miles on throttle only. And that was pretty much the same route I'd done, just a condensed version of it. You saw the ground I was on. It was gravelly, it was rough ground. It done the do. And those hills, the 10% hills that are always on my reviews, it made it no problem. It made it no problem. For this little bike, you know, 21 kilo, yeah, have some. If there are any discount codes, links or anything, they'll all be down below. They're not paying me to do this review. Obviously I got the bike for free. It'll either go in the camper or not, I don't know, but it gets thumbs up from me, to be honest with you. DYU A1F 16 wheel city commuter. Bare bones, don't get simpler. Pedal it, it moves. Throttle, it moves. Good on. Decent range. Properly surprising. Until next time, ta-ra!